It's day 599. It's also Christmas, 2020. And we are in Rangeley, Colorado. This time, though, it's different. You ever wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what am I doing? And more importantly, why? Yeah, me too. Hi, my name's Craig, and this is my story. A story about life. Life out there. For visuals while listening, to watch the video versions of this podcast, or even just to say hey, check us out on our website at lifeoutthere.me. We awoke to a 20-degree morning in Meeker, so things had actually warmed a little since our arrival the night before. And we took our time pulling out of Meeker midday. It's just 50 miles up the road to Rangeley. But with nothing but quarantine to greet us there's no hurry. We stopped here and there along the way. Check out the December scenery on the western slope. Lake Kinney during winter. We hadn't seen that before. And we'd pull into Rangeley late afternoon, snow everywhere. Skies darkening, and temps dropping again, fast. The kind of cold that doesn't bother introducing itself before it gets right to work on your bones. Yeah, it's Christmas, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like another day in a long line of days that have all blurred together. And that's actually not unusual for us. Holidays never really carried the magic, for me, that everyone else seems to feel. Too much noise, too much pressure, too much pretending. But this Christmas, it's different. Not because it's special, but because it's heavy. We backed into our spot in the RV park. That sound of tires crunching through fresh snow. And I'm watching the temperature on the dash drop. 8 degrees, then 7, down to 5 as night fell. And there's something about pulling into a place that's cold. I mean, really cold. It's quiet, but it makes you pay attention. And for the first time on this adventure of ours, the first thing we'd have to do after plugging in, shovel our driveway? I can't remember the last time I had to shovel snow. I quickly remembered why I hadn't missed it. I'm not really thinking about Christmas. I'm thinking about the reason we're here. Friends, family, and one in particular whose time is short. Shorter than any of us want to admit. Certainly not your typical visit with family and friends. No happy hugs at the door and sitting around the table catching up. This time, we're in quarantine. So, hellos would be from a distance. 10 days. Isolate. Wait. Hoping I didn't pick anything up on the road. And absolutely hoping I don't bring something deadly into a house that has more medicine bottles than coffee cups. And you'd think after a year of COVID, I'd be used to this kind of caution. This sort of fear. But I guess it hits different when there's a face attached to it, a name, a life, that you actually know. So this Christmas, just like last year, would become me and the boys, hunkered down in Vacilando. Unlike last year, however, where we had enjoyed the southwestern desert climate of New Mexico, this time we watched snow slide down the windshield in slow motion, and thinking about how strange it is that life out there is still moving, even when everything feels paused. Billy curls up on the bed. I look over at Doogie, my little man, curled up on a blanket by the heater. He gives me that half squint, the one he uses when he's checking on me, like he's saying, "You good, Dad?" And I scratch his head. "Yeah, buddy, I'm good." I'm lying, but he's polite enough not to call me on it. Truth is, arriving here this time feels kind of like stepping into a chapter I'm not ready to read. Too much waiting. Too much knowing what's coming. And too much pretending I'm prepared. This pandemic, the political mess out there, and the quiet awareness that loss is coming. I guess it all makes me reconsider loss. Not in a dramatic way, just in that slow, unavoidable way that seems to show up more often as you get older. When I was young, loss, well, that felt like an exception. Something that happens to other people. Something you notice, maybe mourn for a bit, but then you move past. You move on. But as the years stack up, it stops feeling random. It starts feeling almost structural. It's built into the deal. The older I get, the more people I love start falling away. Parents, friends, mentors. And the math changes whether I like it or not. And somewhere along the way, I think I realized something else too. Ain't none of us getting out of this alive. Not one. And that realization, it doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in quietly, over time. I started seeing my own reflection differently. Not with fear, exactly, but with awareness. That sense that your timeline, it's no longer theoretical. And the weird part is, I never really talked about it. It's not something I ever brought up over coffee or beers. There's no class for it, no roadmap. I guess everyone just figures it out on their own. In private. In whatever way they can. I sure don't know what the right way is. I just know I'm thinking about it more these days. Not in a sad way. More with curiosity. With a kind of respect for time. And the moments we still get to have. And all of this just sitting here with me, crowding the tiny space inside Vacilando, with Doogie and Billy. And the town feels frozen in more ways than one. Quiet, watching, almost holding its breath. And maybe that's part of the reason we came here. To catch our breath too. To slow down. To be present for what matters. Even if we don't want it to happen. It's Christmas Day 2020. And all I can think now is how strange life is. How it hands you beauty and heartbreak in the same breath. How it forces you to stop, whether you plan to or not. And maybe that's the point. Maybe this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Tonight'll be simple. Heat cranked up, cupboards all open so the pipes don't freeze, tank warmers on, learning all kinds of stuff. Doogie and Billy asleep. And the world outside still white and silent. Tomorrow, I'll start the real work. Checking in on friends. Waiting out quarantine. And settling in for a winter that I am absolutely not prepared for. But for tonight, this is enough. A quiet arrival. A town asleep under snow. Doogie, Billy, and I tucked into a little 28-foot box of warmth, waiting for whatever comes next. And I wonder what we'll learn next. This thing called life comes with a lot of rules. Maybe it's time to break a few. Because you can. No, seriously. You can.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.